Ramadan Kareem. In this video, I want to talk all about fasting, the benefits of fasting, the foods that we should avoid, the foods that we should eat, when and why. And I'm aware some people are fasting many more hours than others, and I'm keeping that in mind, and I'm going to share with you for those people who are fasting longer than others. But before I jump into the topic, I really want to talk about mindful eating, because this is the time where you see a lot of people, they have the wrong connection, a negative connection with food. And I want to help for those people that have that negative connection to switch their mindset, because this is the time where we connect with ourselves, yeah? This is the holy month. Okay, so we want to take really advantage of this. We want to build a positive relationship with food, positive relationship with ourselves, okay? So this is a very spiritual time. It's a time where we can transform our health. But we really need to be mindful and aware of our thoughts and behaviors and everything that's happening, right? Because a lot of the times we're living a very fast-paced life. We could be getting excited. The family's cooking huge dinners. You have metloob and mensef and all these foods and sweets, and it's exciting that you're seeing everyone and you didn't eat all day long and you feel very deserving of these foods. So I'm going to share with you some tips how to approach this to switch that mindset, yeah? So one of the first things that we really need to pay attention to, which you already know, I'm just here to remind you, because sometimes we do forget. Yeah, I did forget, definitely in the past. I've dealt with many different eating disorders. That's why I like to emphasize on this, because I know how eating can be the easiest thing to get addicted to. It's the easiest thing that can comfort us immediately. And now a lot of people are going through a lot of stress as well. So you already know that food is the first gateway to make you feel good. And the reason for that is because it gives us immediate satisfaction, and because most of the time the foods that people choose to eat are unhealthy and they're addictive because of the chemicals that are in them. And I'm going to get into that when I discuss the foods that we need to avoid. But how do we approach it? Now, to keep in mind, people who eat very fast and aggressively comes from stress, yeah? So it's very important that you slow down the pace, you take your time, you don't rush into eating before you even bite the food. What I love doing now that helped me big time with my eating disorder is, instead of just saying Bismillah and eating, I take my time, yeah? I look at the food. I appreciate the food. And I really remind myself of all the people out there that are struggling and have nothing to eat. If they have bread or rice, it's their lucky day. You know what I mean? Or even clean water. And we all know this, but we forget about it, okay? So it's important that we respect the food, we build that appreciation for the food, because then we won't disrespect it. You have a lot of people, how do they express themselves? I've been fasting all day. I don't want to eat a salad. I don't want to eat grilled chicken or fish. No. I want to eat some junk. I want to eat some fat. I want to eat some sweets. I want to eat this. I've been fasting all day. I deserve it. And this is creating a negative emotion towards it subconsciously without you being aware. And then people, why am I overweight? Why am I so addicted? Why can I not stop eating? And this and that. The first thing to any change in life is to be self-aware of your thought patterns and your behaviors. And what creates our behaviors is our thought patterns. So whatever we're thinking in our mind, and all of the thoughts that are happening and how we express ourselves and everything that's we're doing is going to affect the way we behave. So we need to dig deep into that and switch the way that we think about things, our perception about things, yeah? So the first thing is appreciating and respecting. Taking your time, thinking about the food, and when you bite into the food, chew it. Take your time. It's simple, but it makes a huge impact. When we chew the food, let the food dissolve in your mouth. One, that's going to help your body digest the food properly, especially because you have been fasting all day long. So you don't want to put all that energy into your digestive system trying to break down clumps of food. Second, you're not going to eat as much because now you allowed the body to absorb that food a little bit, digest it. By the time you get to your meal, half of your meal, you're already half more full than you would have if you would have ate fast. Okay, so we want to be able to eat just the amount so that we feel good after and not tired and sluggish and feel like, oh my God, I just ate so much. Then we won't have energy to really focus and go on with our day the way that we should, yeah? So we eat it slow, we look at it, we appreciate it, we respect it, we're mindful of every bite, okay? And we really start to appreciate the natural food, okay? And this is the second thing that I'm gonna go into. Now, food gives us energy. We can get negative energy from food, or we could get positive energy from food. And what I mean by that is when we eat packaged foods, cereal, biscuits, cookies, any food that's processed or packaged, meaning that any food that has been something added to it or removed from it has been processed somehow, okay? 99% of all these foods that are in boxes and have ingredients, they're full of genetically modified foods. They're full of a variety of different kind of sugars, different kind of salts, different kind of oils. And all of these foods have a negative effect on our digestive system, on the bacteria in our gut health, in our gut, and our intestines and hormones that are produced in our gut, okay? Now, these foods also have an effect on our blood sugar levels, okay? Which also have an impact on the hormones. It's like one thing affects the other, okay? It's like a ripple effect. So that's why it's not just one thing that will be affected. If that's affected, then it affects other things, okay? But we don't want to jump into the topic so deep. I want to try to keep this short and simple for you to stay with me and absorb, yeah? So when we eat these foods, especially these foods, what do they also have? Something called MSG. MSG is what they put in the food to make our taste buds sensitive. So when we eat the food, it tastes so good. So a lot of restaurants, they also put MSG in the food as well so that the food tastes really good. And this spikes your blood sugar levels like crazy by 200%. That's why people, especially with high blood sugar levels, insulin resistant, diabetes, when they eat foods that have MSG in it, their stomach gets bloated. And they're like, why do I get bloated? I barely ate. What's wrong with me? It's because of those kind of foods and how they trigger those hormones. And when the blood sugar rises really fast, it drops really fast. And when it drops really fast, what happens? We get hungry, but we also crave those foods, particularly those foods again, because the blood sugar dropped and the body knows that those kind of foods will rise it back up really fast again. So your brain will crave it again, the body will crave it again, and you're feeding certain gut bacteria in your body that will crave those foods. So when we feed it these genetically modified foods that are full of chemicals and toxins and sugars, and we feed the bad bacteria that's in our gut, those bad bacteria start to increase more and more. The more that they increase, the more they crave that food. It's like an army that's growing that wants more of it, okay? So you start to crave it even more. So you're creating an unhealthy environment in your body. Okay, but that's another topic I'll get into if you're really interested on knowing more about the gut health and the bacteria in the body and how to restore our gut health. I will do another video about that and go more into detail, yeah? But I just want you to be aware of these packaged foods, okay? If you look at the ingredients, you will see they lie to us on the label. Sugar-free, gluten-free, organic, and all these things, fat-free, and they trick us to think, okay, this is healthy. Majority of the time, they're not healthy. If you look at the ingredients, you'll see. Okay, so now we want to stay away from anything packaged and focus on whole foods, because those packaged foods drain our energy, affect our health in a negative way, and make us crave them. Healthy food keep us full. They don't affect our energy levels. They repair everything in our body because it's giving our body what we need. All of our cells are being repaired because we're giving it the vitamins, the minerals. We're helping our organs and our digestive system function properly because it needs those things to function properly, yeah? So now let's talk about how to approach it when you're about to break your fast, okay? Talked about the mindful eating, the foods to avoid. Now when we break our fast, now there are people who are fasting for many hours, so they might not be able to eat 3 meals a day. They'll probably eat 2, which is totally fine. You can also eat 1 meal a day. They call it OMAD diet. It's 1 meal a day diet. Many people do it because they want to get the benefits out of fasting. And I'm going to go into detail about the benefits of fasting. But a lot of people, they actually eat 1 meal a day. But some people, they can't really have a bigger meal 1 meal a day. And you don't want to be eating too little, because then that will cause you to feel drained and not have enough energy. You need a certain amount of food to survive and feel good, yeah? So if you can't eat 1 meal a day, you break it in 2, or you can break it in 3, depending how many hours that you have. Now, let's talk about someone who's going to break it who's going to break their fast and have 3 meals a day. So first, let's talk about water. The most important thing to realize that a lot of people think is that I didn't drink water all day long, so I need to chug a lot of water down. It's actually the opposite. Your body is very intelligent. When you don't drink anything all day long, okay, when you're fasting and you don't have anything, your body starts to break down your fat cells and takes the water from the fat cell to hydrate your body. So your body will always adapt to your stimuli, to whatever that your body's going through. Your body will find a way to survive, yeah? So when we drink water, we don't want to gulp it down and feel overly full from water. We want to have one glass and gradually work our way into it, okay? Now, because we're changing our routine, and usually when people change the timings that they eat their meals, they get constipated. So if you drink the water warm or hot, that will help support your digestive system and push everything out, yeah? And you might think, oh my God, hot water, that might taste nasty. It's actually really good. And if you're someone that drinks a lot of coffee or drinks a lot of caffeine, tea with caffeine and stuff, I would recommend to try to reduce all that caffeine intake, especially while fasting, and just try to start drinking hot water. And you'll see, you'll be surprised that it actually tastes good. And usually people, they drink a lot of coffee just because it's hot and it's a habit that they're used to. So give that a try, see if that works for you. It definitely works for me, I love it. So yeah, we want to have the glass of water. Now, what do we want to break our fast with? It's always good to break our fast with fruit because then it builds the enzymes in our body. It produces enzymes in our body to let our body know we're about to eat. Enzymes help our body break down the food. So when we have it 15 minutes before, it's letting our body prepare for the meal, okay? So we all know, a lot of us Arabs, we know about dates. And dates is a very good fruit to have after you're done fasting, especially for long hours because it's high in sugar. So it's gonna give you a boost of energy immediately. It supports your brain and your nervous system because of all the vitamins and the minerals that are in it. You have copper, you have zinc, you have potassium, you have magnesium. They're full of minerals, full of vitamins to replenish our body after a long fast. It also has something called alkaline salts. These alkaline salts, they help balance the acid in the blood. So if you're someone who's super stressed or been eating a lot of junk food, those foods are very acidic. So it helps balance that out as well. So you could see the benefits out of fasting. So it's perfect to have your dates, you go do your prayer, and then you come back and then you break your fast, okay? Or even if you're not Muslim, you know what I mean? You could go, you can meditate, you can do a breathing exercise, you could just wait 15 minutes and just take the benefit out of your body prepping for the meal, okay? So now when you break your fast, for 3 meals a day, you can want to break it up apart so that your body can kind of get used to this new routine, yeah? So it would be good to have a soup, protein, and salad. So you want to have protein with some salad, and the salad you dribble some olive oil and apple cider vinegar. Now, apple cider vinegar is going to keep your blood sugar stabilized. If you're someone who's looking to really burn fat and to not crave sweets, that's a great way to do it. And also, now when you have that, you don't want to have too much carb and too much fat. Just your protein, very low tablespoon, and your salad, okay? Something small that can just make you feel good and full and not overly full. Now you can wait 2 hours or whatever, and now you have your carb meal. You want to have your carbs with protein, okay? But you don't want to have a high-fat protein with high carb. So you want to have like chicken lean breast with rice, potato or chickpeas or fool or beans or lentils. These are carbs. Now, when you put starchy carbs and you put it in the refrigerator for 3 hours, it brings back something called resistance starch. So if you're someone with a big stomach, or someone that has high blood sugar levels or insulin resistant, or you just want to be able to, burn fat as effective as you can, you put it in the refrigerator for a couple of hours or longer and you eat it cold. And this resistant starch will stabilize your blood sugar levels. And this you can do all the time for someone that's dealing, trying to lose weight, or someone that's dealing with, diabetes or high insulin, okay? So you have your lean protein, white fish, tuna, chicken breast with your carbs, okay? And then now for sahur, your last meal, you want to have high fats with protein, okay? The reason for that is because protein and carbs, they spike your blood sugar levels, okay? Depending on what kind of food, but in a good way. It's not like bad. Every time we eat, it goes up. But fats, they're stabilized. So when we eat fats, our blood sugars are stabilized. That's why high-fat diets are great for someone who carries fat around the stomach, who's diabetic, have a lot of their blood sugar is high, because it stabilizes it. But that needs a specific type of program, a strategy, and a way to approach it. So you can't just say, oh my God, okay, every day I'm going to have high-fat meals. If you want a program like that, you ask me and I can create a proper program for you for that, okay? Because it needs to be approached properly, or if it's not done right, it won't be effective. And then you won't benefit out of it at all, and you can actually gain weight, okay? But that's besides the point. So now you stabilized your sugar when you ate high fat, because so that when you wake up, your blood sugar isn't crashed. So when you wake up, you're not hungry and you're not drained of energy. So what do fat, and also fats, they digest very slowly. So when we eat fats, we stay fuller for a long period of time, okay? And that's what's gonna keep us full and not wake up super hungry, okay? So the blood sugar is stabilized and you're full. So what kind of fats are they? Salmon, okay? Not the smoked salmon, it has a lot of sodium, so I would avoid that, and I would just have the grilled salmon. If you can get wild caught, that would be amazing. Steak, any kind of beef is also high in fat. Nuts like walnuts, any nuts, but walnuts and almonds are great sources of nuts. Avocado, eggs. Dairy also has fat, but to be honest with you, I would avoid dairy. And I'm going to get into actually the quality of foods right now before I end the topic, because this is very important, yeah? So first of all, the reason why I wouldn't recommend dairy is because nowadays the quality of dairy is not like before. Unless you have a really good source and you know that you're getting good quality, that's different. As long as you're not dealing with digestive issues, you can have dairy. Just be mindful that it's not full of sodium so you don't wake up really thirsty. Now, the reason why I say dairy isn't as good. Now, if you think about it, our population has increased a lot, and a lot of people are in demand of eating meat, eating dairy, drinking milk. So the way they commercialize it nowadays to produce a lot is completely different than it was back in the day. So nowadays, they have thousands of cows all stuck next to each other, close, living in an unhealthy environment, depressed, all stuck to each other. They get sick because they're not happy, they're not healthy, they're not living in a natural environment. So because they get sick, they inject them with antibiotic, okay? Because they want to produce so many and have them grow bigger and faster, they inject them with growth hormone. And that's why you see a lot of girls nowadays, they get their menstrual cycle at a much younger age. Younger girls now look much older than they did back in the day, is because of the hormones that they're injecting inside the food are affecting the women, okay? So this is very important that we understand what kind of meat should we get, okay? And now when it comes to dairy, when they buy the dairy, they want to buy the dairy cheap, yeah, to save money. So they get the filtered dairy, okay? They get the dairy that's filtered from fat and filtered from protein, and then they add whey to it, and then they add vegetable oil, hydrogenated oils to it. And those are so unhealthy for our gut. And it's very cheap quality so that they can make more money and sell more, okay? So that's why. Now, how do we choose the right sources of good quality, okay? You can pay attention to the ratio and the ingredients inside the dairy at the back so that you see what is inside exactly, if it's whey protein, if it's vegetable oil and stuff like that. When it comes to the eggs and to the meat, we want to make sure it says grass-fed, pasture raised. That means pasture raised, he's living in the big farm, pasture. He's living naturally, going out, roaming around, living outside. And grass-fed means he's eating natural food just like a cow would, grass, not grains. So they feed them grain food. They feed them genetically modified food, which make them sick, but because it's cheaper for them, that's why they do it like that, okay? And then you can also find some that say antibiotic and hormone-free. So pasture-raised, grass-fed, antibiotic, hormone-free, okay? Now with the chickens, same thing. We want them pasture-raised, not free-range, because free-range, they can lie to you. They could say, okay, free-range, but free-range means that they're free, yeah? But we don't know how free they are. We don't know how long they're free, and we don't know how big the area is. Free-range could mean that they have access to be free, but maybe some of them don't even see it because it's so thousands of chickens in one farm that they can't even get to the door to go outside. And if they do, it's probably a very small area. So that's not very promising. Pasture raised means that they are raised outdoors in a farm in an open area. okay? So we want to get the pasture-raised eggs, okay? Organic also doesn't mean anything. That just means they're eating organic food, but then that means, okay, if they're eating organic food, what does that mean? Chickens are carnivores, you know what I mean? So we want them to eat natural food as they would when they're pasture-raised. So you can get fooled when things say organic. Organic doesn't mean that they're not living inside of a closed-in farm, that they're not injected with hormones and all of that. Grass-fed, pasture-raised is the best for the meat and for the eggs. Pasture-raised, then you know that they're eating freely the natural way, okay? When it comes to fish, like salmon, majority of them all are farmed. Farm is not totally bad as long as they're raising them in a clean environment. It's okay, because they actually do that sometimes because the oceans are filthy, so they control it like that. But majority of them are filthy and they're in a very small area, they're depressed and they're swimming in their own filth. So that's why it becomes unhealthy. And sometimes they feed them unhealthy food. That's not natural. So that's why wild caught is the best, but then it needs to be seasoned for that. Now, I don't want to confuse you guys and feel like, oh my God, overwhelmed. There are too many things to pay attention to, but it's just to raise awareness of the quality of the food, of the mindful eating, when to eat, what to eat, and what foods to avoid, you know? So at night, you have your high fats. Now, if you're someone who's eating 2 meals a day, what do? All you do is now you have your protein, your carb, minimal fat. Okay, I don't even know if I mentioned that, but I'll repeat it one more time, okay? And then you have your second meal, high fat, high protein. That's it. It's fine to have the protein and the carb in the beginning after you break your fast. It will give you that energy as long as you're not having so much carbs that you're overloading your body and you're going to feel so sluggish, okay? So you just want to have the moderate, okay? Enough that you're going to feel good, and try to survive more onto the high fat because you're going to be going longer hours without eating, and the high fat is what's going to stabilize your sugar levels and your cravings, all right? I hope this video was nice, short, simple, and to the point, and you found it useful, you guys. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Mwah.